Hey gang, Brennan Lee Mulligan here, back to recap everything that happened in the first 10 episodes of Cloudward Ho! In episode 1, we opened our season in Gath, a world of progress and peril, where invention and wonder are at their peak.
That same dirigible, created by the one, the only, Professor Comfrey McCloud!
We flash back 20 years before the start of our season, where we met the legendary crew of the Zephyr in 1363 at the height of the Wind Riders Society. In present-day Gath, we meet Maxwell Gotch, grandson of the legendary Cadswitch Gotch, who bankrolled the flight of the Zephyr and many others of Professor Comfrey McCloud's Wind Rider adventures.
You look and see something that everyone else in your family has missed, because unlike your grandfather, they are not true believers.
How will you fool?
Hoping to find the professor who has recently gone missing, Maxwell and Professor McCloud's granddaughter, Olethra McCloud, gather the old crew, Daisuke Bucklesby, who's known now as the Pappy of Pilby, Maria Yankova, who now runs a toy shop in Scrapsylvania, Penelope Chapman, the retired bosun, now running a pub in the Uplands, and Montgomery La Montgomery, now a famous author campaigning against the Queen's smog.
She found it, and she's stuck there.
Accompanied by Maxwell's brother Wheelwell and Van's husband Bert, the gang prepares to take to the sky, only to find their mission blocked by the nefarious Lord Kensington Cosgrove Murdersher, the Queen's Minister of Deranged Science.
Oh, thank you for the return of that vessel!
We spend all of episode 2 battling it out against Murdersher and his Eithengeistian brutes, and Olethra finds some items her grandmother had hidden on the original Zephyr.
Wow!
Including a set of old keys and a sextant with mysterious directions inscribed on them. Triumphant, the new crew of the Zephyr 1 starts off episode 3 by heading to McCloud's lab in the South Pole to repair their ship and stock up on supplies.
I bring it all into the mech.
Yep, okay, well, you have that, and that's in your mech. That's fine.
At the South Pole, they discover a number of clues, including a mysterious sliding tile that seems to come from an unknown land, hidden by a door that Maria unlocks with the keys found on the Zephyr. Entranced by the tile, Maria jumps through a wormhole-like entrance, grabbing the tile and springing back to a waiting Gotch in the nick of time, just as Murdersher catches up to the Zephyr at the South Pole.
Torpedoes are shooting at us.
Clues and supplies collected, the gang flees towards the coordinates Comfrey had left for them on the Zephyr and flies into the effulgent Biangle, coming out on the other side in the fabled land of Zood! The Biangle opens in front of you! And as it does, light from the tile, light in front of you, light surrounding you. The wasps pull away. The ships of the CIR cannot follow. Blinding. At the top of episode 4, our heroes explore the legendary world of Zood, and they make their way to Tabira City, a mobile desert outpost that is home to people and creatures of all cultures. The crew meets a friendly noodle vendor, a monkey with human intelligence who warns the crew about a Zoodian mushroom with spores that induce body swaps, and a Gathian alchemist with a bird-like creature on his shoulder. They discover more about Zood as a whole and investigate for clues about where Comfrey McCloud might be. Their investigations take them through Tabira, and when they investigate the Gathian alchemist with the bird, he splits his forehead in half, dealing psychic damage to those present, and disappears, leaving Olethra, Monty, and Pappy dazed and injured, standing in an empty alley with a symbol of a hand painted on the wall in blood. The symbol reveals him to be an agent of the Eyeless Hand, a dangerous and mysterious faction in Zood that Professor McCloud had warned them about in her radio message.
We were discovered by the island, agents of the Eyeless Hand. If you can hear this, Olethra, it's real.
In episode 5, while investigating this mysterious Gathian individual and looking to resupply, the gang discovers the local economy runs on the listing wall, a wall where everyone lists their needs and contributes to the needs of the community as ability allows. Max and Van discover a listing for fighters, and in their excitement, sign themselves up, only to discover they've signed up to fight a dinosaur. And number 3, a Brachiosaurus!
I'm sorry?
Oh, fucking shit.
Brachio, what? All right.
On the way to the fighting ring, the crew stops at a bookstore, discovering more information on the strange and fantastical land of Zood, a bit of knowledge on Tabira City itself, and a ballad about the mechanical crow that haunts Maria, which she refers to as Straka. Max and Van square off against a Brachiosaurus, as well as 2 other fighters, and despite a tough fight, they come out victorious. With the help of the rest of their crew, Elethra knocks down the stacked teacups of a birthday boy in the crowd, Pappy goes on a quest for a leaf, ultimately donning a disguise consisting of little more than a bald cap, and Monty bonds with the dinosaur. Reveling in their victory, the crew goes to the house of an old crew member from the original Zephyr 1, Haunch Saxon, only to find him dead. Upon a brief investigation, the gang discovers that he must have been murdered by the Eyeless Hand. Using his survivalist instincts, Monty realizes it was none other than Kensington Cosgrove Murdersher who did it. We start episode 6 with a bang. After finding their old crewmate dead, the gang decides the only thing to do is to light his apartment on fire and hot exit from Tabira City. A late Molotov cocktail hits the bed, everyone's running. They lose 2 of the Gotch Company crew, Agarwal and Norwich, who have found their own adventures in Zood. I'm joining the Crystal Gliders! I'm seizing my destiny!
Why are the credits rolling? Why are the credits rolling?
The gang chases Comfrey's clues to the Sol 2, a very dense forest area near the Romansu power station. They hear a broadcast from the power station where Comfrey talks about having to leave quickly because the House of Fahuyar was hot on her tail. But before they can find the power station, our crew runs into the Legio Rex, the lost legion of Treshan soldiers, who have become dinosaurs. After an evening of drinking with the Legio Rex, things take a turn when the crew discovers that the Legio has trapped a baby T-Rex and intends to use the same mushrooms that trapped their army as dinosaurs to force the baby to body swap with their emperor, giving him a young, healthy new body. They convince the Legio Rex to bring them to the Romansu power station and find a clue from Comfrey that allows them to sprint away from the Legio Rex.
On high we go.
Stealing the baby T-Rex in the hopes of saving him. We begin episode 7 in the midst of combat against the Legio Rex in the Romansu temple. After using the crystals in the Romansu power station to direct radiant light across the station, the gang is able to radiate the body-swapping mushrooms to be harmless, overpowering the Legio with the help of some dormant crystal mechs that reside within the power station. Combat finished and our Wind Riders triumphant once again, the crew explores the power station, searching for any clues to Comfrey's whereabouts. They find an old office and some work of Comfrey's, an old automaton kneeling in the center of the room. As Marya surges forward to fix the man, entranced, Van's arm moves of its own accord, hoisting Marya into the air by her throat. In episode 8, Van regains control of her arm, Marya regains control of her mind, and the crew has a number of heart-to-heart conversations about the things they've experienced in the years since their golden years. Marya opens up about her protege, Ludmilla, who was captaining the ship when Straka appeared and was lost with the others. Before Marya could sacrifice herself, driving the ship into the heart of Straka, Comfrey appeared out of nowhere and threw her out of the way, driving them to safety, much to Marya's chagrin. Van opens up about losing her arm on a voyage with Comfrey and the mechanical arm that Comfrey built for her after. Monty admits that he and Comfrey left on bad terms after having harsh words about the projects Comfrey was taking on. Daisuke left because he was starting to feel too tied down with Comfrey, but left with regrets and still full of love for MacLeod, had been keeping an eye on Elethra ever since.
I was only 61 years old.
Yeah, that's a young age to ask to be tied down.
Yeah.
The gang discovers evidence of a struggle between the House of Fahuyar and Comfrey and her crew, and one of the mechs informs them that they've captured one of the members of the House of Fahuyar. The gang meets Freya, a junior banker at the House of Fahuyar. She wasn't supposed to attend the raid, but snuck on anyway and then got captured and abandoned by the bank. Freya explains the evidence of fighting all around them. Comfrey scammed the bank and the House of Fahuyar came to collect collateral.
We will destroy all other retail banks.
Like a cool banker.
Wow.
In exploring the offices in Romansu, the crew discovers the offices of Onion St. Clay and Comfrey MacLeod. There is a wealth of clues within the offices. A map of the world of Zood reveals that instead of being on a sphere, Zood is a helix, intertwined with Zern, a desolate and dry land of ruin. The gang also finds correspondence between the Queen of Zern and the Eyeless Hand, as well as notes that point the crew towards the mysterious Temple of Katur, and a hint that Monty knows the way leads the group to realize they'll have to take back the loot that the bank took in order to solve the puzzle and find the temple.
Just says you know the way.
To where?
I've no idea. I'm not the bloody note, am I?
They cautiously revive the mechanical man who tells them his name is Torse, and he is a rebel from Zern. He was working for Comfrey, who he says went from Romansu to the Ectic Research Station in order to find Couture herself. In episode 9, the gang returns to the Zephyr 1 with a baby T-Rex in tow and heads to the swirling sea in pursuit of the House of Fahuyar. They are arrested by the legendary pirate Captain Goldbeard Explosio and his clockwork crew, though after a tense moment between Daisuke and Goldbeard, due to a betrayal between them years ago, Goldbeard stands down. Goldbeard informs the crew that he was romantically entangled with Comfrey for 3 weeks before she disappeared with her crew and proclaims her to be his great love, much to Daisuke's discomfort.
Very well then, because if there's a man, Jack, here, who's gonna stand in between me and the love of my life, who kissed me, count 'em, 7 times.
Wow.
Any under the shirt action or just over the shirt?
I have a barrel for a chest, so...
Yeah.
Goldbeard passes along a love letter he found in Comfrey's things, and the Zephyr 1 restocks with help from Goldbeard's crew, finding a golden engine in the piles of junk, some new guns for the ship's battle stations, and Captain Goldbeard even bestows some intel on how the House of Fahuyar operates to Monty and Pappy. With the crew of the Zephyr as prepared as they can be for the might of the House of Fahuyar, Monty lays a trap, pretending to be alone and scared and really in need of a bathroom.
I have to pee. I haven't eaten. Comfrey, find me.
In episode 10, battle commences between the famed House of Fahuyar and the crew of the Zephyr 1. Our heroes begin to hit their stride in battle. Maxwell coming into his own as a brawler. And Van using the mysterious properties of her gauntlet to save the Zephyr.
A gore-covered briefcase, smoke, ruin, and eldritch horror writhing on the balloon over you.
That's right.
Tell me about it.
After a tough battle in which the gang topples the vice president of acquisitions and plummets the branch of the bank into the ocean, the crew managed to escape victorious with the stolen briefcase that held the needed code to find the Ectic Research Station. And that's all for our recap. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you in the skies. Cloudward ho!